Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another exciting Sins of a Solar Empire 2 cast. I'm your host, Karaslegacy, as we dig into another round 2 of our 4 Power 2 Balance tournament. We have another good 2v2 for you today. In the north side, we have our twin Advent players with X-Wing and CCC representing Team Loong. And then on the south side, we have Silas as our Basari, with Pax as the TEC representing Team ISS. The match is coming on Scrambler today. A nice, I consider one of the nicer 2v2 maps. One thing you'll notice is a good selection of planets in the middle. Now, one of the key features we're going to see today is we do have the pirates lingering on the left side here. That is going to cause trouble for Silas likely in the early game, and then we'll see how things progress as the game opens up further. Beyond that, I will note a couple of features of the game. The biggest one noted here is the Basari player is got 2 ice on the other side instead of 2 volcanics. So that's not ideal for the Basari. They always would rather have more volcanics. So that's something that might come into play a bit as we move through this game. This game was played on the 1.30 version. That is the brand new version of Sins 2. So we'll be walking through some of those changes as we watch the game today. First thing to note is that the game in general is just a bit faster than was previously. All the ship speeds, with just a few exceptions, have been increased and sped up. So you'll notice that the action does seem a bit quicker now overall. The other big change for the Advent and the TEC players is that their homeworlds were given a lot of extra levels of commerce and mining, and then 1 level of defense. And then the Basari were also given a level of defense as well. So the starts of the Advent and TEC players has been noticeably sped up. You're going to see the ability for those 2 races to provide aggression that was not previously possible. And so the Basari have lost kind of the king of the rush sentiment that they once possessed. So we'll see how much of the factor that is in the games upcoming. So as we look at the gameplay overall, we can see that Silas is starting with kind of an actually slow expansion start here. It looks like is actually taking his time to clear the asteroid camps. Is not going to accelerate through to try to expand faster. We're seeing standard 1-1 tech coming out from the Basari. We're also seeing a focus on. Oh, interesting. We're seeing a focus on the Viterac early on. Oh no, I apologize. It was actually first for the Jiskin to get the seed nanites for faster expanding. Taking a look over on Pax. Pax is opting for a pretty quick tier 2 tech. We are seeing an Akin opening. We are seeing the Akin kind of hitting more and more of a prominent stage right now in the game. It seems like with TEC's accelerated start, they've managed to be able to cover the Akin's early game weaknesses, and now are enjoying its economic benefits without some of the drawbacks that they were once doing. So we're seeing the Akin kind of making a real resurgence in the gameplay. With this push in tier 2, we're also going to see the freebooters open up here for primacy. That'll give them a nice surge of units early. And it looks like they're going to need them, because CCC is not messing around. He is focusing on a very quick Advent push. We're seeing the Radiants come out for the Advent team. This is becoming more and more, I'd say, meta, although we do still see Raptures here and there. We're seeing a lot more Radiant battleships as kind of the opening. It looks like CCC has used that to kind of carve a path quickly through the middle, and is now pressing over on Pax's territory. Now, interesting enough, while CC is doing this push, is actually opting for a more economic opener, pushing with the tier 2 research on the civil side, and is now getting some bonuses for the home world. With Tempest coming online here shortly. And then no real influence has been played. But one of the things to note is while Team ISS is able to utilize the Visari Alliance advantage to be able to see the minor factions early, the admin players were not able to do so. So they may actually have to scout for some of these minor faction bonuses. Looks like CC is going to opt to skip over the relic and may continue this push. Yep, we're seeing a factory set up online, and then we're going to see an aggressive push. On the left side, X-Wing is following suit. It looks like we have kind of a twin strategy here. X-Wing has opted for a Rapture, kind of the more traditional opener with just a bit of disciple work. We see in the opener here, again, a split focus on both sides resource-wise, and also a focus on the Tier 2 harmonies. So, while we're seeing a rush here in terms of units, it looks like tech-wise they are being a little bit more greedy and trying to go for a more economic opener. All right, so Pax has finally got to sniff out what is going on here. Let us see how the reaction plays out here. All right, so CCC has already been able to push in, has taken out this asteroid, or has taken it out and now colonized this asteroid. Looks like Pax Akin is taking a pretty big beating here. While he's trying to use some of his early freebooters to retake this world, the Tempest here are likely going to take it out before that happens. So first blood really goes to Team Loong on the north side as they start carving a path deeper into enemy territory. We now see the Advent player cutting across the ice here. Let's see if he actually takes it or if he's just going to cut across and go a more direct rush. Looks like just using domination here to steal some of these missile frigates. Do we have... Okay, we don't have any colony nanites right now, so I don't believe they're actually going to try to take that world. Instead, looks like just kind of pushing further south. X-Wing has opted now for a 2-2 play. Taking up right now, we are now seeing a more of a surge towards Tempest. Makes sense considering the standard TEC play, or excuse me, the Visari plays. Silas has managed to finally take over this volcanic world, but Silas is expanding very, very slowly, and that's likely going to cost him as X-Wing is able to kind of maneuver around, is kind of bypassed his main fleet, and is digging into some of these back planets. Now let's go back to the right side, as it looks like Pax is trying to retake some of his lost territory. CCC's Radiance is getting pretty beat up and is likely going to have to retreat here. But at the same token, while the Akin is attempting to retake this world, it's getting a lot of damage from these Tempests here. We're at about 15 Tempests, which isn't yet too much of a threat to a capital ship. So this Akin is likely going to have the time it needs to take this out. Yes, in fact, it's near on its way to finishing the siege. Meanwhile, we do see the Tempest numbers increasing. The TC player has a smattering of ships here, but nothing that really can contend with these Tempests right now. The Tempest will be able to chew through these lighter ships pretty easily. We'll see if the Tempest stay focused on the capital ship or yep, there we go. Yeah, smart play here is to re-gear the Tempest towards the lighter ships here. They don't really have enough damage to contest the capital, especially with the pirate roads, which have anti-missile capabilities, and they are able to help nullify a lot of this Tempest damage. So the Tempest have switched gears, they're microing around, and now we'll start cleaning up these kobolds, cleaning up these rogues. I don't know if it looks like he's not target firing. In fact, he's just spending his time microing around. Doing a chase strat like this is actually very advantageous for the Tempest. It allows them to kind of just all as a unit send damage to the enemy units, while the enemy units often have to stutter around and chase the Tempest. So this tends to favor the Tempest. When they're just running straight like this and getting to fire back, overall they tend to do very well. Taking a quick peek back over on the left side, yes, we see X-Wing has kind of maneuvered all the way around and is now going for a full engagement into Silas's homeworld. We don't see any defenses set up for Silas. Uh, but note the one level of defense that is new with the patch has given Silas a surge of hit points that will help slow down the siege of this world. But unless he can bring his fleet back, that is going to be a real problem. Looking back over, we can see Pax is attempting to, and Pax has successfully reestablished his main core planets, pushing back CCC all the way back north. But at the same time, the damage to his partner Silas has been done. Looks like we're going to get a lot of these labs are going to get eaten up, and the siege is on its way. Not only is the Abbott player dealing with his capital ship, but it also brought a couple of process that just stole from the creeps, and that's going to magnify the siege damage that we're dealing with here quite a bit. All right, looks like Silas is going to attempt a counterattack by pushing into X-Wing's Ice World. We have about 12 Tempest here versus 17 or so skirmishers. If the skirmishers are utilized well, they have a decent chance at taking out these Tempests. That Tempest number is not so large that those are uncounterable. And yes, with the two capital Visari ships now brought into play, these Tempests likely will have to run, or at least pull back for the moment while new forces are being built. Now, it looks like the Visari is retreating. Now, is that to actually go back to the homeworld, or is this just a general retreat? If it's to the homeworld, I understand it, but I actually think Visari looks pretty good in this scenario. These two capitals can take out a lot of Tempest fire without issue. Okay, so it looks like Silas is going to attempt to siege this world down with just the evacuator, also known as the egg, while the rest of his forces decide to pull back and assist. Or maybe not. He may choose to run the egg as well. Silas is being a little bit indecisive here. I don't think he quite knows how to handle this situation. While his homeworld still has a decent amount of life, the forces are very far away, and I don't know if he can make it back to his homeworld in time. Yeah, I think he is trying to have his cake and eat it too here. Realistically, he probably needs to commit to one of these sides or the other. Right now, the Tempest numbers are just not strong enough to really do damage to the Visari capitals. So until the Advent brings in their capital ships, the evacuator here can pretty much do what it wants. It looks like it is going to try to finish off that world. Back on the right side, we see Pax has now taken a little bit of blood to the north side as CCC's planet gets knocked down here. Let's see where we stand in terms of forces. X-Wing is maintaining a large Tempest presence, still with 2-2 standing. Influence-wise, we did see an early push into the Jiskun, probably for the Frontier uplink, and now it looks like a shift more into, and there it is. We're now seeing a shift into pirate boarding crews, which will help a lot against some of these heavier Visari ships. CCC, on the other hand, carries just the one Rapture and now brought out a Halcyon carrier with just a smattering of Tempest and Disciples. So not a huge force here present for this Advent. Silas still has a pretty decent fleet supply with mainly skirmishers and a couple of capitals, but as the Tempest numbers increase, those skirmishers are going to be less and less useful. We do see again, kind of a mixed bag of all the influence. And all right, it does look like Silas is attempting to do some counter damage here, but this is just simply too little, too late. This Raptor is going to complete this sieging. We do see some Conrax now coming out. Conrax and Tempest tend to kind of counter each other. Neither one is a perfect counter of the other, so it really always comes down to micro and how the various players use these units. But the Conrax will offer some good counter with these to these Tempests, and the Tempests are not moving. So while the skirmishers often have trouble attacking Tempests that are microed, if the Tempests are just sit there and they're not microed around, these skirmishers will take them out actually very quickly. Skirmishers do a surprising amount of damage, if they're allowed to target. It's just that they turn so slowly that ships that tend to move around them, they have real trouble staying focused on. But if the Tempests just stay in one spot and don't move, they will more than adequately take care of them. All right, going back onto the right side, we do see Pax continuing the pressure. Let's take a look at Pax's board here. Yeah, Pax is looking quite good. We has actually had time to both get to tier 3 military and tier 2 and to tier 2 civil. And it looks like, yeah, this is a nice play. He's going for the black market supplies, which give a 2 immediate Anvar bonus. Note, between that and the green world that he has surveyed, he is going to have a large amount of yellow exotics. And with that, we'll be able to produce 2, maybe even 3. Yeah, he now has enough to produce 3 pirate bases, including one right next to the homeworld of CCC. I think CCC is in real trouble here as the TEC now pushes deep and is going for the throat of the Advent homeworld. We have the push online. We have the Dunov here, which is a great ship to help negate some of the damage that the Tempests especially are doing. But it looks like this is a little bit too hot for Pax. He's going to probably pull back here. That makes sense. He's waiting for his pirates. There's no need for him to rush things. He is looking in a dominant position, and with his pirate tech about to come online shortly, he's going to have another power spike here in short order. Now we'll see if Pax tries to defend this. He really wants to keep this asteroid because one of his first pirate bases could be here and gives him an immediate reinforcement of troops into this spot, but it's now a bit vulnerable with the two capital ships pushing, and it looks like Pax is holding. And yes, he's opting to set his pirates further back, not wanting to risk losing his pirate base for this forward position. So it's understandable because he's in a good spot. Pax doesn't want to gamble. He doesn't want to risk losing an expensive pirate base and all the resources for nothing. So we're continuing to push here. We do see the retrofit bay coming online now, and Flak Burst is on its way, which will do a nice, helpful counter against the Tempest ships. We do have Hoshinko's online as well. Yeah, Pax is doing it right. If you're wanting to see some solid TEC play, this is a good example of it. Pax is getting all the right techs, doing all the right things. His 2 capitals are doing decently well against the Advent forces, although it looks like I don't know if he'll be able to hold this indefinitely. He's trying to get this healing retrofit bay up, but it looks like the Advent player is going to likely snipe it with their strike craft. And it looks like Pax is going to be forced to run. But with reinforcements and the pirates coming online, Pax is shortly going to have a very nice surge of units. Ultimately, on the right side, though, Silas is not faring well. Silas is down to literally the last homeworld, the last bastion of his empire is noted here. We can see Silas is only at 270 fleet supply. Still just the 2 capital ships, a handful of skirmishers, but he now does have 11 contracts. This will start putting a little bit of pressure on X-Wing, but realistically, X-Wing 11 contracts is not enough to really pressure the Sorry capital or the Advent capitals. Ultimately, I think unless Silas is able to get some help from his ally Pax, likely Silas is going to fall here in short order. And unless Pax actually even gives him a world, it's possible he could be eliminated. All right, going back to the right side, we do see the battle opening up here. The TC has now managed to get a retrofit bay online, and we do have Hoshinko's in play. This is the game changer as far as TC play goes. Once you have the combination of retrofit bay and Hoshinko, these units are nigh invulnerable against this scattering of Advent forces. Like, the Tempest here simply cannot do damage. They do basically no damage against the capital ships. So it comes down to TC capitals versus Advent. And while Advent capitals can scale well and a lot of their abilities later game become quite useful, especially with items, In these kind of skirmishing matches with TEC healing, uh, the TEC is well favored into this position. Now, the one edge that the Advent team might have here is we do see the Raptures stealing away the Pirate Corsairs. Uh, this will give him a noticeable increase in anti-capital missiles uh, and just general durability that can help in this fight. So, CCC is not looking shabby as this fight continues. However, the reinforcements for PAX have finally arrived. Those two pirate bases are operational. It's got a new coal on the way. And with that in mind, PAX has kind of equalized the fleet supply here, and combine that with the defenses and healing that he already has. I believe PAX is going to be able to hold this off. On the left side, we see X-Wing looks like he's trying to put the nail in the coffin here on Stylus. Again, this is not a good scenario. Just for those of you watching, trying to learn to get better, when you see Tempest doing this kind of pullback maneuver, you really do not want to chase them. It feels like you have to. It feels like it's the only way to kill them. But this is playing into the Tempest mix. You want them coming to you. You want your Conrax to be able to trade with them. You want your egg to be able to lay down some area damage just like this. This is nice. This does some nice area damage. This is more of what you want to set up with against them. If you're just chasing them around while they're firing at you, you're going to get destroyed. But that said, realistically, Silas just does not have enough here. 60 Tempest is going to wipe out these Conrax in short order, and then they'll start hitting on the capital ships as well. And 60 Tempest, do enough damage to really threaten the capital ships. So I would imagine, yep, and here we see it again. X-Wing is smartly kind of microing the Tempest around, pulling them back. He's pulling it back a little too far now, so now the Conrax actually gets a slight advantage as we see them kind of run away. And is X-Wing actually going to pull back entirely here? No. Okay, he's just microing around, trying to get a better position. Going back to the right side, it looks like, yes, Pax was able to finally throw back this assault with a combination of his reinforcements and his healing. We can see Pax is still upgrading his tech up top. However, has really foregone any kind of core tech. Pax has really gone for the true meaty technologies of the TEC, but he's still lacking in some of the auxiliaries. Tried to keep up in fleet supply. All right, we see a big battle going on here against Triple C. Now, Triple C now has 3 Raptures in play, so that's going to be a huge amount of dominations. Pretty much all these pirate Corsairs are going to switch sides and join the Heretics. With that in mind, Pax is forced to retreat. He's lost the momentum of his pirate Corsairs. He no longer has the benefits of his healing, and he is forced to run. So for you Advent players out here, you could see how Mass Rapture can be very useful against the pirate strategies that the TEC players often employ. Basically turning their strong pirate forces against them. All right, let's see how Silas's holdout is. Silas is at least continuing to hold, and it looks like X-Wing has treated his capital ship. Let's see where we got there. I have a lot. There it is. All right, so while Silas has managed a little bit of a pullback, unfortunately, this is likely the nail in the coffin. We do see this Rapture has made it to level 6. Malice is now online, and with Malice, one of the strongest ultimates in the game, and these Tempests, the remaining Visari fleet is pretty much doomed. I really don't see Silas holding out very much longer against this unless Pax is able to throw up some kind of miracle here. So Pax is starting to backlog some of his military techs to get those online. He is continuing some tier 2 techs. He's gotten some of his developments online. So Pax has been balancing his eco along with his aggression, meaning that several of his backyard planets are are producing, and he does have one of the stronger ecos in the game right now. But it's quickly becoming a 2-on-1 play as Silas is losing more and more and kind of dropping out of the picture here. So we'll see if Pax can pull the rabbit out of his hat as this play continues. Taking a look at Pax's force, we do see the inclusion of a Sova, maintaining mostly his pirate forces, a decent amount of Hashinkos, and again, now the inclusion, we've gone up to 4 capital ships at this point. Meanwhile, CCC is up to 600 supply. Does now include a Halcyon carrier as well, and maintains a large Tempest force. So let's take a look at Pax's. So Pax is also running about 600, 650, so we're having pretty equivalent play over here. But ultimately, that falls into CCC's hands. If CCC can just hold on, can just keep Pax at bay, that's really all they need to do at this point. With Silas being so nigh out of the game, X-Wing still holding a dominant position on the left, this is really just a holding game for CCC at this point. And like I said, Pax is going to have to pull some kind of slick maneuver or real aggressive play if he's going to turn this around. So we continue to see Loong kind of dominate from the north here. Okay, now we do see, all right, Pax is trying, here's the first miracle run that we're seeing. And so far, so good. Pax has managed to carve off some of his pirate pillagers from the pirate bases, and not only has taken out one of X-Wing's world, he actually managed to colonize it with one of his protegs. So that was a nice little play. Takes out a little bit of momentum out of X-Wing sales because he had his 3 lesser factories here. So any delay here holds up X-Wing's production quite a bit. So, nice play by Pax here. We do see the pillage, and he does have another proteg as well. Continuing to apply here. And we are seeing some defenses set up. We do have a defense platform here. This will do some damage, probably take out at least one of these pillagers, but I don't think it'll be enough to stop him from taking out this asteroid entirely. So Pax is going to work. He's attempting to do what he can, but unfortunately he has an entire other fleet to deal with as well. Now, looking over their contingent here, these Tempest numbers are good, but they're not dominant. With Pax's Hashinko healing and the rest of these very tanky Corsairs, he looks decent against this force. I actually think Pax has the advantage against this force currently, but it's not just about having an advantage. Pax has to find a way to really get some value here in quick order. Let's see how these sieging crews are doing. Okay, so it looks like Pax was forced to forego this asteroid bombardment. He is now just moving up the chain, seeing what damage he can do. Meanwhile, X-Wing is just kind of sharking around Silas. We do see Silas has been given a volcanic world over here by Pax, both to keep him alive, but Visari can make great use of the volcanic resources and can also put one of their influence items on it. So this will be a sizable help to Silas. At the end of the day, Silas just does not have any real forces here. Yeah, Silas is down to literally one capital ship, basically a chip in a chair and a prayer right now. We do see the Advent also bringing in Siegecraft to put the nail in the coffin here on Silas. So this is, at this point, we have basically Loong versus Pax. And we'll see if Pax is able to pull that rabbit out of the hat. Now, Pax has taken some hits himself, and he's lost his Tier 3 tech. The big hit, he's trying to get to Harka, which are one of the harder counters against Tempest for the TEC player. Would be a definite way to start putting some pressure onto this Advent fleet. But that tech stall, that's a hurt one. In terms of influence, we're seeing just basic influence across the board, with more of a focus on pirates right now. The boarding crews will be an excellent unit. We do see Pax does have 3 boarding crews online for his capitals. That will give him some much needed support when he goes against this fleet. Pax currently got about a 600 supply fleet here with another 170 to combined. We see also Triple C has got 430, 200. So again, they're maintaining rough fleet supply parity with each other, which again favors Team Long in the current matchup. Okay, so it looks like X-Wing has kind of done his damage against Silas. While he's continuing a little bit of siege to apply pressure, he has finally recommitted the rest of his force, and now it is truly a 2v1, as Pax has to now fend off two fleets. And here we go. Looks like the two are going to decide to go after each other. Let's go ahead and slow it down just a bit so we can watch this action unfold. Now, Pax brings a large contingent of pirates and does have boarding crews to basically take back units that the Advent Rapture steal. So that's going to be his counter to try and recover some of these Corsairs that he's about to lose. Now, what I'll be curious to see is, okay, it looks like the Advent team continues to focus on the pirate Corsairs for their stealing rather than the Hishinko. I think it's a debate point whether it's better to take the Corsairs at this point or maybe even try to grab a few Hishinko. Even that little bit of healing. Advents are so hungry for healing. Their ships are so fragile that stealing some Hishinko, and there actually we found this one, could be a real turning point for the Advent player. All right, looks like Triple C has decided to just recall out against the supply of Pax. I think that's a perfectly fine move. Again, at this point, time is completely on Long's side. He's just trying to make sure Pax doesn't get too much momentum, is not able to drive out or do anything too crazy. Just buying time for his opponent or his ally to combine forces with him. So even though Pax took a decent fight in that battle, at the end of the day, the war is still being waged. And the war is shifting soundly into Long's favor. Meanwhile, on the left side, Silas has lost his homeworld. That is finally been taken out. And now we see in the south corner, Silas's final world here. Pax has a smattering of pirate pillagers and a pirate crew to help defend it. But for the most part, let's take a look at Silas's stats real quick. Yeah, I mean, Silas, for all intents and purposes, is one capital ship in this game. There's no tech. There's basically no resources. So he's got a level 4 Devastator, and he's going to try to do some work with it. Looks like he's going to stay here and actually try to level it, he might. Yeah, looks like he's going to try to get some XP on it, maybe get it to a high level so it can potentially add in some real factor. But for all intents and purposes, Silas would need probably another hour to really get back into this game full. I don't think he's going to have that time, as Team Long is starting to shark around towards the middle area here. Now, we do see X-Wing does have a decent fleet supply down here, but not a huge one. And this might catch X-Wing off guard a little bit. Pax is about to come crashing in with his full fleet. There's no steel here, so all these Corsairs are very tanky against the Tempest vessels, and once the capital ships come in, they may wipe out this Tempest fleet if it's not careful. All right, the Tempest microing well, they're pulling back, doing what damage they can, but you can see, I mean, the Corsair armor is quite thick. The Tempests are really just not doing that much against them. So these Tempests are almost certainly going to have to run away. But that is fine by X-Wing. He's just, again, buying time, giving a chance for Triple C to move into position, start taking these worlds in the middle, and then we'll start coming crashing on Pax in a bit. Important note here, we do see X-Wing has actually gone pretty heavy culture. Let's take a look at that. And is now getting a tier 3 tech as well. But if we take a quick look at the logistics here, we do see a lot of Temples of Unity for those global abilities. And then we do see a couple of, not as much as I expected actually, I thought we'd see a few more. But you could see the blue lines of the Advent culture is starting to spread into these places. And they are starting to get closer to Pax's territory. that could be a real concern for PAX if they're able to push too deep. Take a look. And X-Wing does have conversion. So Sanctify and conversion is up. Yeah, it looks like X-Wing might be trying to finish this with Culture Play. Uh, for those of you who don't know, conversion is a very strong ability for the avid player. It allows you to literally take a world that is within your culture and start damaging it from afar. And if you're able to actually take it out entirely, the world will revert to you. It's a dangerous ability. It's very powerful against weaker planets like Pax's asteroid here. Uh, so you get into a scenario here where if the culture starts pushing a little too hard, and Pax may not even be aware of it because he's fighting so hard to just try to stay alive here, that might come into play here in a few minutes, and then suddenly the avid player starts sniping planets. Meanwhile, it looks like interesting. Triple C is actually deciding, I guess, to retake some of the worlds up top rather than crashing in on Pax. I don't know how I feel about that. It's the safer play. They're taking their time. They're deciding to fortify up. But I mean, at this point, I mean, Pax really has no ability to counter their forces. I feel like Triple C could come in here, easily grab these couple of worlds. Pax would have no counter to it, and then at that point, Pax basically has no eco. All right, let's take a look at our fleet supplies here. X-Wing has got about 700, still maintaining a large Tempest force with 3 Raptors. Pax, on the other hand, is at a good smattering of. He's actually focused a little bit on Sova, actually, with a large smattering of carriers, and then a decent amount of pirates, but more of a focus on capital ships. Triple C almost at 1,000 at this point. Heavy Rapture play with heavy Tempest as well. So Team Loong's looking very strong right now. Okay, now this is a chance to do a little bit of damage. These Tempests, they're firing, but yeah, they need to be running. These Tempests really stand no chance against Pax forces at this point. All right, it looks like, do you see, Silas here is just being annoying. He's doing what he can, trying to kill things, trying to maybe snipe a planet or two. He is the X factor in this game. Pax needs every little bit of help he can get to try and deal with this 2-on-1 if he's going to have any chance of victory. And any amount of annoying damage that Silas can offer is going to be abused. Look at tech for Pax. Looks like he's staying on tier 3 military. He hasn't advanced any more than that. We're now at the hour mark here as, okay, it looks like Triple C has finally decided to join the party. It's coming crashing in on Pax's knowing of the world. This makes sense. So Pax is now way out of position here. X-Wing has pulled him completely to the south side, and with that, Triple C is unopposed. Even if Pax decides to completely pull back at this point, at least these first 2 worlds are completely dead. There's no saving them. And depending on how it goes, it may threaten Pax's homeworld as well. Yeah, we can see Pax is already losing his key tier 3 technology level. Looks like also, and he's just not having any luck right here, is he's trying to shark around with the Sova, do a little bit of chip damage, but these creep forces are not letting him off easy. All right. Let's watch the exploits of Silas here as he tries to do whatever he can to make something happen. So Silas is he's gonna snipe out potentially this factory. Might take out this world, although it's gonna be real slow going. And actually, now that I say that, I believe X-Wing has, yes, X-Wing has Sanctified, so I think this planet will be just fine. If it actually manages to get it low enough, they'll just use Sanctify, which is the advent ability that lets them heal, and it'll be fine. Although, I say that, Pax is sieging down X-Wing's world here, and the best way to deal with Sanctify is to hit on 2 different spots. So they might be able to do a little bit of chip damage here and then take out one of these worlds. All right, so we have. All right, the two forces of Loong have finally come together, and it looks like. Oh, and I apologize. I left it on slow speed here for a bit, so let me speed us up here to kind of get us back in action. All right, X-Wing is going to try and siege this, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it in time. Yeah, those those bird chicks got killed very quickly. All right, now we want to see how Pax handles this. Does he pull back to his world? Does he continue to pursue X-Wing? It's a big moment in the game. It's a big decision, and so far it looks like Pax is stopping. All right, Pax is making a decision. It looks like he is going to start pulling back. I think he has to. These forces are too close to his homeworld, and if he doesn't start defending it, these forces will just take him out here in a moment's time. Pax has made it up to 1,000 fleet supply. Is finally backfilling a lot of those key techs up top. Looks like you're seeing. Pax is trying to again still do a little bit of chip damage, or try to take out some of these worlds, and he has managed to clear a bit of space from X-Wing. But unless he can really hit the homeworld or take out a large amount of military labs or something, or production especially, realistically this just isn't going to do anything. It's not going to do anything fast enough. All right, Pax has gathered his full fleet here. And this is an impressive force. We have 1,000 fleet supply versus a 9,500. Triple C does have to be careful here. Looks like, yep, Triple C's pulling back. He's not committing too hard. Just literally dancing around Pax as the two players just kind of dance around, pulling them left and right, giving Triple C a chance to kind of rebuild, bring in his final forces. Yeah, Pax is struggling here. He's lost his civilian tech. He's still trying to get some more tech online, but I don't see what he can do. Oh, and it looks like Silas has finally been caught. I think he will make it out of this, but X-Wing might decide to chase him down. Pax is deciding to kind of run after the Advent fleet here. Let's see, did he manage to get... he did not manage to get quick jump calculation while he was on tier 3, so that would have been one way for Pax to try to get back in this, by using his faster jump to try to catch up to the Advent players. But without that, the Advent is just going to run circles around him. And Pax also does not... Now, he does have his Supreme Doctrine here, so he does have a bit of a speed edge over the Advent, and will let him catch up slowly to these forces. But it's likely not going to be enough. All right. Oh, and I think, yep, we just saw X-Wing has finally started to activate the hammer as the conversion ability was brought online. The conversion ability was just used, so we are starting to now see pretty much everything in this culture area is just going to steadily be taken out. Silas has nowhere to go. Silas is, even if he retakes these worlds, X-Wing will just start sniping them out. And as Pax is coming, being pressed back to his home world, I think we are literally going to see, we'll likely see the GG here pretty shortly. Yeah, Team Loong is dominating this map. We do see a slight little force here from Silas, but I'm going to go ahead and speed this up. Okay, we do have, let's see. All right, Pax is trying to make one last good stand here. And he actually could take out this mothership, but it looks like he's got bigger fish in mind. Focused on the Radiance, who's using, not using the Taunt, he's actually just targeting it straight up. And once again, Triple C just uses his recall ability to get out of danger. leaving Pax with unfortunately very little to do as now X-Wing comes from the back. Uh, so for those who are watching, I think this is an excellent example of how two players can kind of vulture pit a stronger player apart. Pax's fleet is very strong here and is likely able to take out any single one of these fleets. Even together, they might have a bit of difficulty against Pax's current fleet. But what they're doing is just picking him apart. One goes in, recalls out. The other one moves in, recalls out. Uh, Pax really can't stick any real damage. As soon as he pulls back here, Triple C is likely going to just press on his world again. And all the while, X-Wing's culture is going to work. We do see, it looks like he will have enough focus to utilize another conversion here in just a moment. And I think we'll likely see it on this. We're going to watch this asteroid for a second and see if he decides to do it. Come on, X-Wing, give it to us for the camera. All right, we'll come back to that in a second. Oh, we do see Pax. Yep, Pax is returning. X-Wing is running. And interesting, Triple C is going up top. Oh, he's chasing Pax's Mars, so that makes sense. This Mars is not going to survive. There's too many Tempests, too many missiles. And another capital ship bites the dust. I do want to see this world taken. Yep, X-Wing's just going to keep running. Really no reason to press at this point. He's just enjoying the power of his culture. In fact, his culture is even pressing on to Pax's homeworld. And I'm wondering if he's not taking this world. I'm wondering if he's actually trying to wait to see if his culture pushes on the homeworld itself. It is pushing, but it's slow. It's going to take a long time to get to Pax's main base. One thing I did want to check. Okay, Pax does have his extreme xenophobia, so he does have his culture resistance already up. So unfortunately, he does not have that in the back pocket to help him push. Yeah, we're just at this point. X-Wing just recalled out. And there it is. We finally have the GG. Team Loong takes the first game of this series. It is a best of 3, so we'll be back soon with the next cast. Again, on Karaslegacy. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.